This series is all about cutting-edge architecture. Travelling far and wide across America, we showcase some of the country's most groundbreaking and stunning architectural projects and talk to their leading designers to uncover the incredible stories behind them. Welcome to America by Design. American architecture is world-class, and our ByDesign team of industry experts have selected some of the best architectural statements from around the country.
The beautiful part of these projects is the culmination of everything. It's the contractors, the plumbers, the artists. It's everybody that really curates this project into one meaningful, impactful piece.
You're blending together cultural considerations, functional considerations, artfulness. Great design blends all those things together into a pleasing whole.
Let's get started with our first project.
We're on our way to Populus Architecture Studio here in New York. And Robin, you teed this up.
Yes, I did. Now, I noticed that you said architecture. I just want to point out, Populus, interestingly, identifies as a design firm.
Okay, I'm going to ask about that.
Okay, I'm watching you. Hey, Jonathan. Great to see you.
How are you? Now, Jonathan, I want to clear something up.
Yeah.
Are you an architecture firm or a design firm?
It's a great question. We are a design practice. We're filled with architects, designers, innovators, thinkers, but really it's about designing experiences, right? So of course we care about what our buildings look like and how they function, but it's really about the shared experiences, the moments that happen in the buildings. So one of the things that we love about the space is that it's filled with light, and it has that incredible panoramic view of New York City. And we definitely feed off that energy.
What's your favorite spot?
Well, it might just be over in the corner, a little bit of inspiration from all around.
You got the honeymoon suite over there.
It's a great spot. But everybody has access to the views and the light. But yeah, I kind of like working over there.
Isabel, now you two are a team. You work together. You're famous for it, architect and interiors. And you worked on the TQL Stadium in Cincinnati.
We did. The first thing we always look at with a new project is the cities and the context, right? So in Cincinnati, whether it's Cincinnati Music Hall, the Union Terminal, Finley Market, so just understanding the surroundings, the context. But for this project, we really wanted to focus on motion, creating energy. The fan base of this team in Cincinnati was second to none. And we like to think of lighting as like a 22nd century building material. We started to think about this array of vertical fins that wrap around the entire stadium. Let me actually show you what that was all about.
Here comes the trace.
I can't help myself, hold on.
Architects.
Right, so you have the kind of elevated plaza, right? And the steps coming up from the main street. And then we have a very simple twisting motion of the facade. And that right there is where all the people are entering into the building. So that's the stadium. It's a very simple idea.
All right, Isabel, what about the interiors?
Yes, what we did here with the interior with the color palette, right? We borrowed our inspiration from the team colors, which are bright navy and bright orange. We wanted to do something a little more muted, a little bit more sophisticated to create this really soft, balanced backdrop to bring, those team colors to life.
I've got an idea.
What?
Been a lot of talk here. I think we should walk the walk.
You want to go there?
Let's go to Cincinnati. TQL Stadium in the flesh.
Here's the grand staircase. 15,000 people ascend atop the staircase. 26,000 people in total capacity for the venue.
There's actually this pretty spectacular march to the match happening right before the game starts. The fans walk up Central Parkway, up the grand stair, with fanfare, music. You're going to see more of that later.
Yes, we're actually here on game day, so they're expecting a full house.
And now, isn't that actually what populus means? It's Latin for full of people?
It is. Populus means people. And that's what we designed for, a full house and everybody coming and enjoying with their families, their communities, creating incredible experiences, memorable ones.
Oh boy. Jonathan, this is impressive. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what's really incredible is this moment. It's the morning of the match, right? It's the calm before the storm. And we get to really see how the architecture has been designed for the match. You know, in some stadiums, you might see a kind of large cutout in the seating bowl and a big view out to a river or downtown. And that's nice. We've done that plenty of times before. But in this city, we wanted to create a 360-degree seating bowl. And that's designed for this community of soccer fans.
No, we're not here to look at views of Cincinnati. We're here for the damn game.
That's right. It was about capturing all of the energy and keeping it inside. There's also the roof. It's not just the function of covering all the seats in the house so they're protected from the weather. It's to capture the sound.
I see it's made of steel as well.
It is, right? So that means we're reverberating the sound off of the canopy and it's keeping all that sound energy inside. So that does two things. One, within the communities in the surrounding area, it's not noise pollution. We're not creating any of that. It's also creating that intimidation for the opposing team.
The steel pushing the crowd noise down back at you. I wouldn't want to be the opposing team out here.
No, it's a visual and audible atmosphere that's second to none.
Robin, let me show you the Tunnel Club.
Right.
This is the most premium space that we designed for this stadium.
Really draws you into the space as soon as you come in.
Absolutely. We designed every detail to be really about that directionality. Actually, Robin, that bar is right on the halfway line of the pitch.
Really? So is this whole experience been inspired by like the traditional European soccer experience?
Well, actually over there they call it football.
Oh, right, of course.
But
Soccer,
yes, very
football,
much
right.
so. You know, this Tunnel Club concept is something we see over there very frequently, and it's very popular. And again, you know, it's centered around the fan experience. It's the most premium experience that you can have in a soccer stadium. This here is why this space is called the Tunnel Club. This is what we call the player tunnel. Actually, right over there is the door to their locker room, and before the match, this is where they come through to meet in the middle of the club.
Really? So did Populus design this especially so these players will come out and meet in this dramatic sort of meeting place right in the middle of the field?
Exactly. It's very ceremonial, right? It's like this pre-match hype, this pre-match energy. Can you imagine being right here and having your favorite player come by, like not even at 2 feet from you?
That's an incredible experience. Right. Very premium.
Yep. During the research phase of this project, FCC actually brought us here to learn about the rich culture in Cincinnati. This neighborhood that we're in is called Over the Rhine. It's a German settlement from the mid-19th century. This actual brewery that we're at right now, it's Rheingeist, and they ended up being one of the sponsors that contributed to one of the premium spaces that we designed. What we wanted to do is create real distinct experiences for our fans throughout this stadium. This one probably has the largest tie back to the cultural connection to the city of Cincinnati.
Okay, so Populus really designed this space to bring you back to that city experience of people coming together in a beer garden.
Right, you see, you know, the large communal tables, the exposed steel, very industrial, that kind of give you that beer hall vibe.
So what about these lights? I love them.
Yeah, we were going with this Starry Night Sky experience, really wanted to create something special. So there's over 1,000 individual pendant lights in this club that light up this whole space.
So is every space in the stadium inspired by Cincinnati?
So yeah, something we always look to do when we start out our projects is tie the design stories back to, you know, what we're working with. This building is for the city, it's about the city, it's for the club and its fans. So the Cincinnati's Club, the Pitchview Club, they all tie back to the history of the city, and they're about the city and for the city.
So Jonathan, closer to game time here, and that lighting has started on the stadium. Now, this is your work. This is iconic, isn't it?
This is one of a kind. This is the first time that we introduced a lighting effect to the exterior facade of a building.
Out of all the stadiums you've done.
If you start with the architectural form and the expression, you can see how it twists all the way across the expanse of the stadium. It creates that tension in the middle, almost representing the two teams about to start the match.
It's clever. It feels like to me that it's part of the stadium, not kind of slapped on the stadium.
Exactly. I mean, we always look to integrate LED lighting, LED video as a part of the architectural expression.
Jonathan, when you see all this, it must be emotional.
It really is. You know, we work on these projects for 3 to 5 years. They take a lot of effort. We have a huge team at the office, which is incredible. We work with consultants, we work with the contractors, ownership, and then bring all that together. And, you know, the result is something special.
Isabel, you must be so proud.
Oh, so proud. I mean, there's nothing better than bringing your kid to a game and getting to enjoy that together, right? Like, I have a little 7-year-old at home, Alex. Hi, Alex.
Are you kidding? You're like a super mum. You take him to the stadiums that you design?
Absolutely.
It's not really about architecture as much as designing this incredible experience.
Exactly. It's everything about the city, the arrival to the stadium, the experiences in the interiors that Isabel took us through, and then the match. Everything is about experience.
Yeah, when all is said and done, it's all about this. It's about the game.
It absolutely is. And since you're here, we have a special gift for you.
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh, some merch.
We have some merch. There you go.
Lay it on.
Fan.
Okay, now we look the part.
Very cool.
What do you do?
Yep, we hold it up.
All right, let's do it.
FCC.
FCC.
Sutton Tower is so memorable because of the absolute insistence on the highest level of quality in every material.
Let's face it, New York City is one of the greatest cities in the world. Imagine yourself living in these big apartments with these terrific panoramic views.
Designing and constructing high-rise condominiums in New York is a difficult business. Designing and constructing quality condominiums, now that's even harder. Thomas.
Mark.
Well, it's been nearly a year since I was here.
Yes.
Looks like you're pretty much done. The guy's doing some polishing there, some final polishing.
Yeah, construction is done. We have a couple of small punch list items, but other than that, we're done.
Now remind me, Thomas, there was something special about the cladding of this building.
Yeah, the building is clad in 2-inch thick limestone panels all the way up to the top, which is 850 feet up in the air.
Expensive.
It's expensive, but it was important for us because it's a foreshadowing not only of the design that we'll see, there's a lot of stone elements that continues inside the building, but it's also an example of the quality that the building is constructed with.
I can't wait to look around.
Let's go.
Now, Thomas, I remember this bad boy.
Yeah, this is carved from 1 block of stone.
Crazy. It must weigh a ton.
Yeah, I think it's actually 12,000 pounds.
Wow. How'd you get it off the truck and in here?
I actually asked a couple of guys to help me get it off the truck. Once it was off the truck, I had it.
Okay. I think he's lying.
Perhaps.
Thomas, I kind of expected the lifts to be in the lobby or at least here.
Yes, well, this is an unusual situation because what we did was we created an entry to the elevator from the rear of the building. And the purpose for that was that we wanted to make sure that when you are in fact waiting for the elevator, you're in a grander space than you would be able to be otherwise, a space that's also covered in natural light.
Well, it sure is a grand space in here.
Yeah, we have, as you can see, 20-foot ceilings, and in addition to that, we have direct access to the courtyard that we created in the back. So there's always light coming in.
A lot of stone out there.
A lot of stone out there. We have furniture that is carved out of stone. We have a fountain that spans the entire width, and of course, both the walls and the floor are all carved in stone.
And this is an interesting piece.
Yeah, this is a light fixture that we designed. It's an upside-down apple tree.
Okay, kind of from what, the Garden of Eden?
It's from the Garden of Eden, but this time I wanted to protect humanity so nobody can reach the apples.
Ah, I see, clever. So, Thomas, I remember the last time we were here, we were in the pool.
We were in the pool, and as you may remember, it was a stainless steel tank. And now everything has been clad in tile. In fact, even the ceiling of the pool has been clad in a mirror tile.
Looking fabulous. And this is just one of many floors of amenities.
That's right. We have a floor that is almost exclusively designated for children, with children's playroom and games and so on. And then we have another floor that is more for working out. There's a boxing studio and a Pilates studio and a full gym. And then there's another floor that is more for grown-ups with a private dining room and a private kitchen.
Wow. So you never need to leave the building?
Not really, not really.
Who do you imagine living here?
I think there will be people, of course, of a certain financial stature, but really the amenities and the quality of life that offers in a full-service building, I think there are people who will be seeking to improve on their lifestyle. So now, as you can see, we are on a full-floor apartment in the building.
Wow, the apartment takes up the whole floor.
The whole floor. We have 4 bedrooms, we have a home office, we have an eat-in kitchen, we have a dining room, and of course this incredible living room with spectacular views.
To die for. So we're on the 49th floor. This is the one lit up here.
That's right.
Okay, so I see up above there's loges, are they?
It's a little bit out of your price range.
You think? Oh, yeah. Really? I can't even point at them.
I think.
Any chance I could have a look?
We can go have a look, absolutely. But before that, there's something I wanted to show you that I think you'll appreciate in this apartment.
Okay.
Mike, as you know, stone has been a big theme for us in this building. And here in the primary bathroom, we actually have a double vanity that is carved out of solid block.
That's one solid piece?
That is one solid piece that they have scooped up. And all the walls are clad, floor to ceiling and slab of the same material. And on the floor, what we did was we took 4 bookmatch pieces of Calcutta gold and we laid them out almost like it's an area rug.
Boy, and this is the same for all of these full floor apartments.
Well, it is, but it's actually the same for all 121 apartments in the building.
Even the single bedroom?
Even the 1 bedrooms down below get the same treatment. There's no shortcuts in this building.
I see that. And now we're on the 80th floor.
That's right. This is the lower of the 2 levels for the duplex penthouse apartment in the building. The duplex penthouse is 80th and 81st floor. And on the 81st floor is where all the bedrooms are located, and on the 80th is where all the spaces are for entertaining.
Like this space, for example?
Like this space. This is, of course, an enormous living room. One of the biggest living rooms, certainly, that I've been part of creating. Unobstructed views, floor-to-ceiling glass on 3 sides, vast ceiling height.
Yeah.
If you want to live like the king and party like the king, this is where you should buy.
Yeah, it's unfurnished at the moment. It'd be one hell of a cocktail party here.
We're trying to figure out what kind of sofa you want, so we wanted to hold off until we spoke to you.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
The least we could do. So this is one of the loges that I said we couldn't even afford to point at. We're 800 feet up in the air, protected environment, and we're still outside in this incredible loges with 25-foot ceilings. And it's really just you and the city down at your feet.
I mean, we're even above the helicopters here.
We're above almost all of New York City at this point. And as you can see, even up here at 800 feet in the air, the building is still clad in limestone.
And at the very top of the building, that's something else.
Yes, we've clad the crown of the building in champagne-colored stainless steel, which is essentially an homage to some of the golden roofs you see in the old Gotham City.
Fantastic. Great work, Thomas.
Thank you.
I loved the remembrance window in the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. The way they incorporated daylight was really creative. It's warm, and yet it doesn't interfere with their function.
I come from a military background, so I felt a real sense of connection, and the architecture brings that to life. The stories of the families, as well as the sacrifices of the veterans themselves, it just was an incredibly personal connection.
When the National Veterans Memorial and Museum opened in 2018, it was one of the most anticipated buildings in our country. Wrapped in a series of curving, graceful concrete rings, this building has become an immediate and iconic landmark both for the city of Columbus and our entire nation.
When we opened in 2018, we were the 20th national museum in the country, designated by Congress. And that didn't happen by accident. Our native son, John Glenn, who was a Marine first and then an astronaut and a senator, he actually lived about a mile from where this museum sits. And it was really his vision to make this a national museum and a national memorial that would tell the story of veterans and their service and sacrifice and that of their families, so that the whole community could be inspired and learn more about the veteran experience.
Now let's talk about the design a little bit, which seems to me like it evolves out of some of these values of service. And I see these heroic arches that really support each other. How does that relate to some of these veteran stories?
Yes, this was not an easy build to build at all. But what you'll see inside is the strength of those stories about service and sacrifice kind of emerge out and make this huge iconic building much larger than it really is.
We heard from Senator Glenn and our veterans community that they wanted a place where they could come and actually share their experiences with their family. And they encouraged us to find a top-notch design team who would understand that. And I'm thrilled that we were able to bring in Allied Works Architecture for the building design, Olin for the landscape design, and we had Ralph Applebaum Associates who handled the exhibits.
What a powerhouse trio. What were some of the design ideas that they brought to the table?
We wanted people, even those who were passing by Columbus, not even coming to the museum, to understand they've arrived somewhere special and sacred. The building really does rise off from the ground, and one of the key design elements is that it's built with 3 concentric circles, but no load-bearing columns. Rings have had a long history with veterans and military. So just like our veterans, symbolically, this building is standing on its own and building strength from within.
That's an incredibly powerful concept.
It's a keystone to the next great neighborhood, the Peninsula, a $1 billion project, and we've even won national and international awards for the design.
Well, I can certainly see why.
It's not often that we're asked to build a building that's also a sculpture and a work of art. The first thing that catches your eye is the concrete. Not only is this concrete being asked to be structural, also the main architectural element, it's curved but with no radii, so a constant changing radius of these compound curved arches. We've built all over the world and we've never found something quite like this. The geometry was really the biggest challenge.
Interesting, and it's really a muscular material, but you have to be so careful when you pour it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It took us about a year to plan how we were going to pull this off.
All that planning certainly paid off, and it's got a beautiful finish to it.
The vision was a white concrete, but in our climate in Columbus, Ohio, that's really hard to achieve with consistency. So we were able to work with Kime and come up with a sealer that had different capabilities for opacity and how white it was, and we mocked it up a few dozen times and found the combination that made it really beautiful and still kept that rustic quality about the concrete.
What about the rest of the materials that complement the concrete?
Yeah, as we read the spec book, we saw the custom end grain white oak flooring. We developed this radial ceiling together with our partners at the design team. And then of course the glass and aluminum curtain wall. Every piece is unique. Every pane of glass only goes in its one spot. They all complement each other and come together pretty simplistically, but it was tough to achieve.
I bet it's almost like building a Swiss watch.
Yeah, the majority of the project team is local, and it was just such a great opportunity to build this iconic structure for our city. It was just a dream come true, and then most importantly, to have the opportunity to give back to the veterans community in such an important way. It really made all the challenges and sacrifices worth it. Just a great project to be a part of.
Everything in here is designed to tell a story, from the exhibits to the ceiling to the rooftop here at the museum. In fact, where we are right now up in our Remembrance Gallery, behind me are these campaign ribbons. They look like beautiful stained glass windows, but they also tell a story. Those veterans who served from the Civil War up until now, each of one of these windows represents part of that campaign.
So interesting. It gives a great color, not only to the interior, I'm sure it's a great backdrop for that outdoor event space.
Right. The architects designed the rooftop first, and then built what was inside it afterwards.
That looks like a beautiful place to have an event and a ceremony.
Actually, if we were up in the sky right now, you could see that the Memorial Grove and the museum form an infinity symbol, which is meant to symbolize that service to our country was here when we started our nation, and it'll be here long after we're gone.
That is very powerful. This museum and its distinct design pay tribute to veterans of all generations. The stories that are told within, including acts of unbelievable selflessness, are the very qualities and character that form the foundation of our country.
This season, we're proud to feature 5 affiliate awards. The Best Use of Lighting Award, sponsored by Ferguson, will be presented to one project that displays the most creative use of lighting. The Best Use of Technology, sponsored by Graphisoft, will celebrate one project that best utilised technology in its design. The Sustainability Award, sponsored by Green Building Initiative, will be awarded to one project that highlights exceptional sustainable practices. The Healthy Building Award, sponsored by Keim, celebrates a project that prioritised healthy choices in its design. And the Reimagine Award, sponsored by School of the Art Institute of Chicago, presented to a project with exemplary vision and imagination. Winners will be announced in the final episode of the season.
The Duke Ellington School of the Arts is a wonderful blend of historic renovation and innovation.
They didn't just jam, technology and a current program in the old existing building and try and retrofit and make it work. They really brought these two things together in complete harmony.
They put all of their eggs in one amazing basket.
This 1898 facade here in Washington, D.C. is a national landmark site. And behind the facade is a rather amazing example of just how far you can push the envelope with a site like this. The school, the architect, the builder. This was one heck of a collaboration that started with you.
Yeah, absolutely. In this team, we found excellence. They were just the greatest collaborators.
And there was a competition which you won, up against some rather big hitters, some Starchitects.
Starchitects, yes. There were 20 firms expressed interest, 4 were shortlisted, and 3 of which were international firms. But yes, we won it, and we couldn't believe our luck. And at that point, we then started asking ourselves, well, watch what you wish for, because we would have to deliver.
And between you two, the architect and the builder, there's rather a non-traditional arrangement.
The design team and the subcontractors worked more closely together than I've ever seen. As a School of the Arts, it was going to have these big spaces, highly technical spaces, spaces that have equipment and design that only exists in those kinds of spaces. We really had to figure a lot of things out as a team for the first time, because it was all going to fit behind this historic 1898 building in this competition-winning design.
We had to insert a very ambitious and complex and expanded program into this building, adding 100,000 square feet.
I can't wait to see how you solved all this. So this was your solution. I want to call it an egg.
And we called it that from day one. This was our solution for really a dynamic problem, which was how do you get an 800-seat auditorium facility in this building? We knew that we were going to carve out the atrium, and we felt like we could put an iconic element like this right in the middle, and it could be the energy and the focus of the school. This is the bright, open interior space that is now the centering of the school. You are conscious of the egg wherever you are in the building because the circulation system runs around it. And so it's an orienting element. It sits on 5 columns that are supporting the full load. And of course, the skylight is loaded on top of the frame. And when it's fully loaded, like it is right now, it deflects about 1/8 of an inch down.
Deflects?
Yeah,
it kind of sags?
Sags, not much, believe it or not, because there's a lot of steel in this thing.
I think that sounds safe. So Derek, you were project lead on this.
I was, yes.
Another architect. Yes. And you worked a lot in this program.
Yeah, we did. This is ArchiCAD. We needed a tool that would allow us to not only design the building that we felt the client wanted and convey the design to them, but also to work out all the infrastructure bits, all the steel, plumbing, mechanical.
Because this egg was pushing everyone, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. We had a very finite space to put the egg in, and then the egg itself had a very finite shell associated with it. This allowed us to coordinate all that with all our subs and consultants.
And not to mention the client as well. I guess they need to know what they're saying yes to.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody gets a realistic understanding of what the final product is going to be.
I've been dancing my whole life, and really, I want to pursue dance professionally. This is like the best place to do it.
Duke Ellington School of the Arts, founded in 1974. I always say that Mike Malone and Peggy Cooper Cafritz, they're the fabric of the artistic world here in Washington, D.C. If it wasn't for the work that they were doing early on for careers for workshops in the arts and street theater, we would have never had the Ellington School. I'm a very proud alumni, attended the Ellington School as a vocal major, and then I got a chance to come back here and be a part of this beautiful modernization.
And when you were here, can you imagine facilities like this?
We had a good time. The essence of Ellington was there, it's still there, but we didn't have anything like this. We love it. It's the next generation of artists having the resources that they need to be excellent.
Isn't the world full of wonderful things? Living in DC, you don't really have many opportunities as a young person. So being able to have a facility that really nurtures you, it moves you forward in a way. It helps you feel like you have a goal, at least within this domain of where you want to be.
It's very special, isn't it?
Very.
This theatre.
And it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah. And it's a big egg.
From the outside and from the inside, yeah.
This is beyond my imagination. We've always had this $100 million program. We just didn't have a building to match. So Chris helped us get to that point where the building now matches the program. And you can't beat this.
So my coming back to the space, it's not just that we were slotting in a new block in this perfect wedge. This is an 1898 building we carved out into a horseshoe shape.
Yeah.
And we landed a spaceship in Georgetown.
You hear that, Chris? He's calling your egg a spaceship.
Egg, spaceship, I'm good with either. And yeah, it was a crazy compressed schedule. And there were times when I came out here and I was genuinely worried we wouldn't make it.
With 8 months to go, there were days where we had snowmen down in the cafeteria because there was still no skylight, there was no egg, none of it was there. We were still working all over this building every day. It was a challenging experience, but it's a once in a lifetime type of project to be able to participate in.
So Ron, I know Peggy, before she passed, had a chance to see all this.
Yeah.
But what about Mike? What would have he said?
I think Mike would have said, well done. He probably would have said, yes, Lord, but he also would have said, keep going. Because he understood that there is completion to a work. You can say that we're done, but just like an artist, you're always looking at your work saying, I could do that better. We have to be willing to understand that this journey will have bumps in it, but no matter what, we keep going to inspire the next generation of young artists, to inspire teachers to want to be here, staff members to want to be here, but we got to keep going.
Which architectural project in the series do you like best? Tell us in 15 words or less in the Ferguson People's Choice Award. You and a friend could win flights to New York, staying 2 nights at one of Sonesta's 4 New York properties. Enjoy an exclusive VIP guest tour of the Ferguson New York City showroom and select a range of lighting and fans for your project, courtesy of Minka Group. To enter, go to ByDesign.global. Most creative answer wins. Good luck. We hope you've enjoyed our look at some of the finest architectural designs from around America. Join us next time for more groundbreaking architecture on America by Design. For more information on any of the projects featured in this series and to vote in the Ferguson People's Choice Award, go to ByDesign.global.